All right, our next speaker we have coming up, her name is Margaret Dawson, and she is the chief marketing badass at Rival IQ. Margaret's going to reveal why the next killer application in the digital era is actually human contact. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Margaret.
Thank you. Good morning, and it's great to be here again. And if you're wondering why a bunch of us have tattoos, it's because Dave went so long, Harley started tattooing all of us. I don't actually know what this means. I'm wondering if we're going to have a hustle dancing competition later. Who's old enough to remember the hustle? Do, 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 do. All right. I thought it was just me. Thank you. You're very old. It reminds me, I was running one time, and I had my iPod in, and for some reason, I had downloaded the hustle, and I'm on this back road jogging, and all of a sudden that song comes on, and I realize I'm going dun 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 dun. Okay, that's nothing to do with what I'm talking about. So it's great to be back. I was here a year ago, and I've changed roles since then. When I spoke to you last year, I was running product marketing for the cloud computing division at HP. And if you ever wonder why we all do this, just go work for a really big company for about 18 months. So about a year in, I realized that I really missed building and fixing and owning something end to end, which I'm assuming all of you also love to do. And so I really stepped back and tried to be intentional about what I was going to do next. And that took me on a journey where I was meeting with a lot of people. So I reached out to VCs that I knew, VCs I didn't know, my mentors, CEOs of a lot of startups, and just tried to figure out what to do next. And so what I'm talking about today, and also again at 3 o'clock to have a discussion with those of you that join me, is how do we use human contact? How do we, go beyond our technology and try to figure out how to connect with people, not only when we're making a change, but throughout the life cycle of our company and our startup. And I think like most of you, I'm in this because I love technology fundamentally. And that can be good or bad, right? At some level, we need to love what we're building, how we're building it, why we're building it. But it's easy to get too sucked up into the technology. Everybody's talked about how many startups they've done. I was telling someone last night, I think this is my 6th, and 2 of those completely imploded. And it wasn't because it was bad technology, it was fucking cool technology. But what I found is that I got so excited about the technology and how we were doing it and the technology we were using to make it possible that, we were lacking in some pretty key things like were we too early to market, were we too late to market, how are we executing, how are we building out our channel. And so while we all need to love what we're building and how we're doing it, we need to make sure we don't get sucked in and start drinking our own Kool-Aid purely technologically. And if we look around, not only are we using it sometimes too much in our own companies that we're building, but just as users every day, or just every consumer, every person that you bump into, we've just become so used to depending on technology. And there's an app for frickin' everything out there. I've just put a few random ones on there. We use it to find friends, to find our next love, to find people to hang out with, to find our next job, to find customers. But at times, we forget that we need to do those things outside of that app. In Seattle, where I am from, I get involved with the startup weekends a lot, and the last 2 that I've judged, there was a very consistent theme of more than 3 of the 10 teams that were competing. And they were building apps to help you find someone who was free the same time you were, or find the ultimate game that's playing right now at the park that you just walked into, or something like that. And every time these guys got up, these same 2 thoughts came to mind, which was 1, what are you integrating with, or how are you getting this information? Are you meeting up with another calendar system, or you're pulling stuff from Facebook? What are you doing? Oh no, everyone joins our app, and then And so that was the first thing that made me go, I don't think anyone's going to do that. But the second thing was, what the hell is wrong with us? Have we forgotten how to make a fucking phone call? Or a lot of these guys are students. It's walk down the hallway of your dormitory and knock on a door. Hey, want to go play Frisbee? So we've gotten so dependent, we actually forget we need to pull our heads up once in a while. I don't know how many of you have teenagers, but you'll often see a group of teenagers hanging out together anywhere, and they'll all be texting each other. And they're standing right there, right? Maybe some of you have done that. And we all know this guy. This is probably my biggest bailiwick, is people will be looking for a new job, and they'll just go online. And they'll be applying and giving their resume to 1 million different websites. And they're going on LinkedIn, and they're connecting. And they can't get a job. And month after month after month goes by. And I tell my children, I tell friends, it's like, get away from your computer. You have to actually go meet people before the interview, because it's still who you know, right? So to be successful, we need to know when to disconnect. For those of you that heard Jason yesterday, I think he had a great point. He built this website, right, and that kind of made it something, a foundation, and made it legit. But to be successful, it went about building community, people getting together, and that's how his whole movement was successful. So we've got to connect personally. We have to connect with our employees, with our partners, with our investors, with our customers especially. And we'll talk more about that this afternoon, about when and how do we connect with our customers, even if we are using the internet to sell our app or use our product. Because the reality is we can fall in love with technology, but we can't base our whole business on technology. And as this movie, Her, showed, you also can't have sex with technology, although he tried. I suppose you could, but it's not really. Okay, let's not. We won't go there. But the thing that you don't get from technology is trust. And at the end of the day, it's all about building trust and leveraging that innate skill that we have as humans, which is that instinct, that gut. How many times has the paper said exactly what you want to see, everything is in your due diligence, and you go, this is the person, or this is the company, or this is whatever. And then there's something in your gut, if you were to be completely honest with yourself, there's something that says, but you don't listen to it. And every time I haven't listened to that instinctive gut response, it's been a mistake. Every time. So that's why we need to look at them in the eye. We need to get that feeling, and that's something, as of yet, AI hasn't done. I'm sure they're going to get there. So I'm at the stage of future today at 3, and it's a little bit misleading because we're really not talking about future. It's much more of practical how-to, and I really hope for it to be a discussion and interactive about how do we do that? How do we bring in customers? How do we find investors? How do we touch people as we're building out our companies? How do we find the right employees? And just talk about all those different ways to leverage technology, but make sure that we're stepping aside and really building those relationships that we need to be successful. So thank you very much.
Thank you.